in reversing calcium score or reversing heart disease. How do you do that? I'm going out to Daniel Boone National Forest for a second day of hiking with some friends. And if you have an interest in seeing some of that, I'll show some of that at the end of the video. But I just wanted to do a quick video explanation. One of the recent videos we did was titled, How to Lower Your Calcium Score. We had a sort of a hater comment. The complaint was, well, you didn't tell us how to lower our calcium score. You just said a few things about what causes it and then what doesn't, and then you quit. Unfortunately, that comment was deleted, or I'd show you. I thought about it afterwards, and they were right. That was exactly what was in there. Chris and Aspen had taken one of the sections out of a Q&A from quite a few months ago. And it really did talk mostly about what causes it. And that's the thing. The way to reverse or lower your calcium score is to go to the root cause. Fix the root cause, and that's what helps. Now, we did talk about the root cause, and I'll run through those very quickly because the way you deal with each of these root causes, they have some differences. But there's one big root cause the vast majority of us have, and I will spend a couple of minutes talking about that. So in that video, we talked about this individual said, for example, I took vitamin D3 for a long time and it kept raising my calcium score. So I quit taking vitamin D3. Unfortunately, I think that individual was probably improving his situation, stabilizing his plaque, calcifying it, making it better, but didn't realize it. That's a common mistake. And again, he stopped taking the vitamin D3. So again, I don't think taking vitamin D3 is going to make your condition worse, even if you see some increase in calcium score. In fact, I have to go through that. That's a problem with the calcium score. I have to go through that with a lot of people. I have people come on board and say, I want to reverse my calcium score. First of all, that doesn't happen very often. Calcium is laid down as a process of scarring. When you have soft plaque and you stabilize it, that stabilizing it, that scarring of the soft plaque deposits calcium. Now you can get some decrease. We've got a couple of videos where we talked about that. Jerry Kurth did, John Lorscheider did, and again we both covered videos on that. But it is a very practical goal and attainable for almost all of us to say, I'm going to stop my progression of heart disease. I'm going to stabilize my heart disease. I'm going to reverse my risk. Now, how do you do that? Again, let's go back to what causes the risk. In that previous video on how to lower your calcium score, we talked about arthritis, the inflammatory arthritides. And don't worry about those words. Psoriatic arthritis and more commonly rheumatoid arthritis. Both of those have significant risk for heart disease. If you can calm down the inflammation associated with those types of arthritis and other types of inflammatory diseases, you slow down your risk for heart disease. But again, I mentioned early on that there's something that happens to the vast majority of us. I'm talking like 80%, and as we get into our 70s and 80s, closer to 90% and even more. We lose our ability to metabolize carbohydrates. Now, go read the book, The Diabetes Epidemic and You by Joseph Kraft. If you haven't read that, if you haven't seen it, I've got several videos on it. The book itself is a 1-hour read, and you begin to see that as we age, more and more of us lose our ability to metabolize carbs. So what happens? Well, our glucose remains up way too long, and our insulin remains up way too long. When that happens, that burns the inside of our artery, and it causes cardiovascular disease. So the end of the day, back to the person that complained, I didn't tell you how to reverse calcium score. Let me put it in a couple of simple ways. First of all, don't worry so much about reversing your calcium score. Worry about stabilizing and reversing your risk for heart disease. Sometimes that increases your calcium score because it creates scarred, stable plaque with calcium in it out of soft plaque. The second thing is, in reversing calcium score or reversing heart disease, how do you do that? You reverse the root cause. For some people, that's familial hypercholesterolemia, inflammatory arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, or rheumatoid arthritis. Reverse those inflammatory processes and you reverse the heart disease. For the vast majority of us, especially as we age into our 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, it's insulin resistance, inability to metabolize carbohydrates. The insulin receptors in our muscles and liver cell membranes lose their responsiveness to insulin. And when we do, blood sugar goes up, insulin goes up, it starts burning our artery walls. Once you start managing that insulin resistance, you will reverse your heart attack and stroke risk. It happens every time. It's reliable. You don't have to worry about it if you're doing the right stuff. It's not that, oh, you get in your 60s and 70s and you're going to have a heart attack and there's nothing you can do about it. Flat wrong. Now, if you still have any interest in Daniel Boone National Park, here's what it looks like. Here's some pictures where we were just earlier this week. So, yeah, that's proven that I was there. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. It's the stone arches of Kentucky. And obviously there's some beautiful formations. And come on out. We'd love to have you out here. There's some other really beautiful stuff in Kentucky. I live 2 miles from one of the most beautiful racetracks in the world and some of the most beautiful horse country in the world. Thank you for your interest. Why wait for a disease and hope for a cure? I used to be an ER doc. My name is Ford Brewer. I quit ER after a few years because it was just so frustrating. Most of the things bringing people into the ER are things that should have been prevented, including heart attack, stroke, #1 cause of death, #1 cause of permanent disability. People think that you're just going to have those and that they're not predictable. Both of those are wrong. They are predictable and you don't have to have them. Usually it's lifestyle. Lifestyle is more important than supplements and even prescription drugs and even stents and surgery. But the current times are tough. Major financial impact with the lockdowns that most states have been going through. We've been working on a way to make this much more affordable with a subscription process. And that's exactly what we're announcing today. We've got 2 levels. One is the silver membership, where you get access to our courses, a private webinar each month, and access to our supplement store and supplement recommendations and prescription. Or I would suggest even more so, the gold membership. You can get a script for a Freestyle Libre and find out what your blood sugar metabolism's doing on a daily basis. And you can get a lab order for inflammation, OGTT, and insulin survey. You can also get a 30-minute one-on-one with me. So I'm looking forward to seeing you. Cost is no longer an excuse. So if you're interested, go to go.prevmedheartrest.com/prevmed-subscription or call us at 859-721-1414, 859-721-1414, or email us at myhealth@prevmedheartrest.com. Looking forward to seeing you. Thank you.